Mr. Store's third grade class, and we're learning all about biographies.
A biography is a non-fiction book.
It tells you about a famous person's life and how he or she helped society.
Famous people often go through struggles or hardships in their life.
Biographies often take you on journeys through the struggles and hardships.
They often begin with the person's birth and childhood years.
We learn about the person's interests and accomplishments.
In a biography, we learn about special influences that cause a person to make a difference or take actions. Big accomplishments of a person usually come in the middle of a book. Most biographies have helpful text features. One of these text features is photographs with captions.
Photographs help us visualize what the person looks like.
Black and white photographs might tell us that the picture was taken a long time ago. Other text features are maps or diagrams. They help us visualize ideas.
Biographies also have timelines about the person's life.
The timelines show us dates, and that helps us know when things happen. Each student in our class read a biography and created a diorama to show what they learned. I chose to do my diorama on the Wright brothers because the book looked interesting and I didn't know anything about them. I also thought it would be fun because I love making airplanes and thinking about how they work. I did my diorama on Abraham Lincoln, and I learned how he helped abolish slavery. Here is Abraham Lincoln making a speech to the black people.
I chose Jane Goodall because I love animals and I admire people who work with animals. Jane has worked with chimps for 45 years. She discovered that chimps use tools like twigs, branches, and rocks.
I did my diorama on Neil Armstrong. It shows him on the moon with the lunar module. It happened on July 20th, 1969, and he was the first person to walk on the moon. Born in Kentucky, Abraham Lincoln was the 16th President of the United States. He was president during the Civil War and he abolished slavery. He was assassinated in 1865. My diorama shows Abraham Lincoln as a 9-year-old boy when his mother died.
Peter the Great wanted to bring Russia into the modern world, but the people of Russia thought the old ways were best, so Peter forced the people to accept the new ways.
I chose to read a book about Anne Frank because I knew most about her and I thought she was very interesting. My diorama shows her family hiding in the annex. This was probably one of the biggest struggles in her life because she wanted to play with other kids, but she had to be quiet. My diorama shows Lynn Cherry in the woods because it was a time of struggle to her. Our woods being bulldozed, and this happened when she was very young. It made her interested in saving the planet. Cynthia Moss studied elephants in the National Park of Kenya. In my diorama, I showed a time when there was a very bad drought. It happened in 1975 and sadly 78 elephants died. I chose to do my diorama on Marie Curie because she was one of the most interesting persons I read about. My diorama shows her inside her mobile X-ray van. I thought it was cool that she created a mobile X-ray van and then used it to help soldiers and people who needed it.
I chose Caesar Milan, the dog whisperer, because I have a dog and I love dogs. My dog Callie went to dog school, and that's when I was interested in Caesar Milan and started studying him. This is Caesar and this is his grandfather. Caesar's grandfather taught Caesar, who's the leader of the dogs.
The moment I chose in my diorama was when Rosa Parks was arrested for not sitting at the back of the bus. Laws in America were unfair and Rosa Parks was fighting for equal rights. Black people were angry about the law, so they boycotted the buses. Finally, the Supreme Court said there should be fair laws for white and black people.
My diorama is about Wright brothers. Their first flight was only 12 seconds long. They traveled 120 feet. It made news around the world.
I chose the scene where Harriet Tubman is helping slaves escape to the north. He was called Moses because she led lots of African Americans to freedom. I thought that Harriet Tubman knew used to escape was called the Underground Railroad. My diorama is about Rachel Carson, and she's a famous writer. She was reading a magazine and she saw her story published in the magazine. She was all excited about it. She had some struggles in her life, but she overcame them.
I read a biography about a dog named Stickeen who belongs to a naturalist named John Muir. At first, Stickeen was afraid to cross a glacier or an ice bridge, but then he got over his fear, and that's what made him famous.
My diorama was about Ruby Bridges going to school and why people saying mean things to her. In 1960, Ruby Bridges was 6 years old. She wanted an education, but she had struggles to get it. Ruby Bridges was a brave girl. I chose this book because I wanted to know how people lived back then and how their struggles were. We hope you enjoy learning a lot about biography.